who used to love waving at passing aeroplanes. Please help me welcome Youth Leader Udita. The title of her speech is Micro Effort, Mega Benefit. Micro Effort, Mega Benefit, Youth Leader Udita.
Am I audible? Emirates checking counter at the Dammam airport. My parents and we two sisters checked in whopping 160 kgs of baggage in addition to 40 kgs of hand baggage. With the exception of our own clothes, all the baggage contained gifts and clothes for our relatives and friends. Respected Mr. President, Master of Ceremonies, Toastmasters, parents, guests, and all my fellow exuberant youth leaders. Good evening.
Good evening.
After several days of hectic shopping and packing, transit time of 5 hours at the Dubai airport was the time to relax. Tantalizing coffee at Costa Coffee outlet on the airport was very refreshing to all four of us. But when Dad paid 100 riyal for just 4 cups of this coffee, I became a little nervous. Zoom! Up went the airplane, and 5 hours later landed at Dhaka. The next plane then took us to Chittagong, which is my hometown. All of us were very curious to reach our home. Uncles, aunts, neighbors, friends, everyone was eagerly waiting to meet us. We were so engrossed and so happy to see them that the travel fatigue completely disappeared. Next day, we started distributing the gifts that we had brought with us. It was so pleasing and satisfying to see the way everyone's face was enlightened. Though the gifts were small, from my toddler cousins to grown-up uncles and aging nannies, everyone was extremely happy. One day, I was on my way to a mall with one of my younger cousins who came from US and was visiting Bangladesh for the first time. All of a sudden, she exclaimed, "Nini, look at those elephants!" I was a bit thoughtful, for as far as I knew, elephants never wander around in the middle of the streets in my city. So I looked in the direction where she was pointing. Can you guess what they were? They were buffaloes. Poor child, coming from a rich country, couldn't make out the difference between elephants and buffaloes. Next, we went on to spend a whole week in our village, where I could now see more buffaloes. There were birds chirruping on mango trees, coconut trees swaying with the mild breeze that was blowing, rice paddy on one side, vegetable farms on the other, a bullock cart carrying bamboos, and lingots running behind it. Wherever I looked, the surrounding was so serene and peaceful that for a moment I completely got lost in the scenic beauty of nature. A carpenter's hammering thug 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 in a nearby house sounded like Tirikatha of Tabra. A blacksmith appeared to be playing santoor, ding ding, while shaping a piece of iron. But that building over there caught my attention. This building was treated like a temple by all the villagers, where the moment they stepped in, they found their wishes granted. The signboard on the building read, Grameen Bank. From little kids to aged people didn't even know who the Prime Minister of our country was, but were very much familiar with the founder of this bank. That is Dr. Muhammad Yunus, the first Nobel laureate of Bangladesh for peace. In the infamous famine of 1974, as many as 1.5 million people died of hunger. It was then that Dr. Muhammad Yunus realized that a tiny loan, in other words, microcredit, could bring changes in the lives of small loan, he can buy bamboos, make furniture, sell in the market, and earn a good living. He would not only be able to repay the loan, but would also be able to live a life with a high self-esteem. Loans to the poor, and that too without financial security? Impossible, then and even now. But Dr. Muhammad Yunus firmly believed that microcredit was a viable social business. His first lending was $27 from his own pocket, which is equivalent to the money we spent on coffee at the Dubai airport. From modest beginnings 3 decades ago, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, through Grameen Bank, developed microcredit into an ever more important instrument in the struggle against poverty. Interestingly, 97% of this loan is given to women, who in turn get more returns to the family than their counterpart men. Dr. Muhammad Yunus has also recently, Grameen Bank has diversified into 4 different categories. Grameen Krishi, that is agriculture, Grameen Matsro, that is fisheries, Grameen Fund, and Grameen Telecom. Dr. Muhammad Yunus' leadership and vision of microcredit has benefited millions of people not only in Bangladesh but also in many other countries around the world. Dear youth leaders, Dr. Muhammad Yunus did not build any charity organizations. He never collected donations. Instead, he built the concept of microcredit, or in other words, social business. He also announced that $1.4 million of his award money would be used to create a company that would make low-cost but high-nutrition food for the poor, and also to make an eye hospital again for the poor in Bangladesh. So youth leaders, next time you intend to have coffee in a branded or